Today I invite you to the small memorial room created in honor of Primo Levi. Who was Primo Levi? You have probably heard the name and maybe even read his books. There are many researchers who studied his life and work. Many more were puzzled by his death and tried to solve the mystery. Levi was born in Torino in northern Italy, with the exception of some months working as a chemist in Milan at the beginning of the war, and the year in which he survived Auschwitz. Primo Levi lived in the same apartment in Torino for all of his 68 years. Here is the house on Corso Umberto 75. It is still there, the apartment which his grandfather gave to his mother as a wedding present. Here, where Levi was born and lived most of his life. He fell in love with chemistry in high school and became a chemist right before the war. This is probably what saved his life later. Here is the Primo before the war. In June 1940, Italy declared war as an ally of Germany against Britain and France. But in July 1943, King Victor Emmanuel III deposed Mussolini and appointed a new government and prepared to sign the armistice with allies. On September 8th, the Germans occupied northern and central Italy, re-established Mussolini rules. The Italian Social Republic issues an order to arrest for all the Jews, who have remained in the country, estimated to be between 30 and 32,000. The Italian resistance movement became increasingly active in the German occupied zone. Levi and some comrades took to the foothills of Alps and in October formed a partisan group. Untrained for such a venture, he and his companions were arrested by the fascist militia on December 13, 1943. When told he would be shot as an Italian partisan, Levi confessed to being Jewish. He was sent into camp at Fassoli, near Modena. He recalled that as long as Fassoli was under the control of the Italian Social Republic, rather than Nazi Germany, he was not harmed. Fassoli was then taken over by Germans, who started arranging the deportations of the Jews to the eastern concentration and death camps. On the second of these transports, on the 21st of February 1944, Levi and other inmates were transported in 12 cramped cattle trucks to Monowitz, one of the three main camps in the Auschwitz concentration camp complex. Levi, record number 174517, spent 11 months there before the camp was liberated by the Red Army on 18th of January 1945. Of the 650 Italian Jews in his transport, Levi was one of the 20 who left the camps alive. The average life expectancy of a new entrant at the camp was 3 months. After liberation, the Soviet government asked Levi to describe what he was witnessing in the camps, and this how the Auschwitz testimonies were written, together with Leonardo de Benedetti. The first and maybe the most important book by Levi is Survival in Auschwitz. Levi wrote this work as an act of bearing witness to the horrors he had both seen and undergone himself. He was trying to show human strength that emerges when people are stretched to their utter limits, as well as the dark depths to which humanity is capable of sinking. As the first-hand account of the concentration camps, Survival in Auschwitz is the beginning of Holocaust witness literature. About the same time, Levi starts writing poetry, and his first poem, Shema, named after the first Hebrew word of the prayer. Hear, O Israel, is a scream to the world. Listen, remember, tell your children.